Hey there, it's Legs. Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm going to be reviewing some of the best planes in GTA 5 online. Now, this video is completely subjective to my opinion, but I will be running some actual tests. These tests will include speed of the plane, just the overall look of it, and the abilities that it has. Without further ado, here are the planes. Let's get into it. Alright, up first here we have the V-65 Molotok. This plane comes in at $4.788 million on Warstock, and this is what it looks like. Obviously, maybe I did it a little wrong with the customization, but I'm not a huge fan of the way it looks, but we'll see how it handles. Up next here we have the Rogue. This one comes in at 1.596 million, also can be found on Warstock. I am a little more partial to the look of this. I think it was a little bit nicer with the customization and overall just the shape of the plane. Moving over to the Pyro here, which comes in at $4.555 million on Warstock. Overall, I don't really like the way this plane looks. I think the colors look great on it. I think they look great where they are. However, whatever's going on in the back here, I'm not a huge fan. However, we'll see how it handles. Alright, and moving into the bigger boys in the back here, we have the B11 Strikeforce. Now this is coming in just under the Pyro at $3.8 million, again found on Warstock. I do quite like the look of this plane. It looks very menacing. I like the livery options that you can have with this plane, and overall I think it looks pretty clean. Now finally here we have the F-160 Raiju. This is the most expensive plane by far. It comes in at $6.855 million. This is my favorite plane by looks by far. I think it looks amazing. I really like how these edges kind of complement the look of the plane, and I really like the livery that I have on here. The colors, again, this is completely subjective to my opinion, but this is my favorite looking plane by far. All right, with the looks and prices of the planes out of the way, let's get into a speed and handling test. Alright, so I had a bit of a mental blunder there. I thought that all of these planes are going to be able to be raced inside of Rockstar's created races. However, unfortunately, the Strikeforce and the Rogue are unable to. So, to solve this, I'm going to take all of these planes. I'm going to start them at Sandy Shores. I'm going to race up. We're going to touch the end of the Alamo Sea. Then we're going to turn around and go through this canyon. I want to go under this bridge and under this bridge. And by the time I cross this bridge, I'm going to stop my timer, and that'll be the time that the plane gets. This is going to test how fast it can go and how maneuverable each plane is. Obviously, both of my hands are tied, so I'm going to be using my toes and my phone stopwatch to try to figure out how fast each plane is. So the times may be slightly off, but hopefully they'll be pretty accurate. One other thing I should mention is I am starting the plane as soon as I start the timer. I'm not going to wait for the plane to touch off the ground or anything like that. It's going to be how fast it can get off of the runway as the start of its time, because that does matter. Some people may say it's just how fast the plane is in the air, but say you're trying to get into your plane in a hurry and get out of somewhere, I think taking off from the ground should factor into the time. Alright, so without further ado, we're going to start with the Raiju. That's going to be our baseline time, and see how the other planes compare to it. Alright, 3, 2, 1, go. And bang. Oh, I've just turned it into VTOL mode. That might eat into the time, but hopefully not. Alright, we're in the air. We're getting up to the end of the Alamo Sea here. Alright, as soon as I come across this point, then I'm gonna turn around and head back over the lake, or back over the sea. I'm using the mini-map to gauge when I've reached that furthest point, and it looks like I've hit it there, so now we can turn around and we're going underneath that canyon over there. We are going through this canyon over here, not the other one over there. I think this one's gonna be a little bit harder to maneuver, and there's 2 bridges, so it's gonna look cooler. So far the Raiju's at 55 seconds as we're coming through here. I do notice that the planes do like to slow down a bit as you get closer to the ground, so that is also going to be pretty interesting. So there's one plane. I'm not noticing any turbulence or anything, which is really good. The Raiju's handling pretty well. It's pretty quick. And as we're coming up to the final bridge here, let's look at the time, and it'll be 1:19.4. Alright, so that'll be the Raiju's time. Let's get into the next plane. Alright, up next here we've got the B11 Strikeforce. A reminder that 1:19.4 is going to be the time to beat. That was the time of the Raiju. Alright, 3, 2, 1, let's go. Alright, it's off the ground pretty quick. it is, I'd say, a bit of a wider plane for sure, so it might have a bit of a worse turning radius, but I guess we'll find out pretty quick here. I'm noticing a little bit of turbulence as I'm climbing. That might just be the game. Alright, we're approaching the Alamo Sea here. I mean, obviously we're approaching it, we're right next to it, but we're approaching the end of it as we're coming into this little point. And we're gonna start heading towards that canyon there. Alright, we're going over the sea like we did with the Raiju. Let's see how high we can climb here before. It is gaining quite a bit of speed, I'm noticing, as I'm going higher, which is nice. Alright, I'm gonna start diving down a little bit more towards those bridges so that I can get underneath them. Obviously, I'm not going to try to go underneath this first bridge here because, well, I don't think this plane's going to fit. So we're just going under this one and the other one over there. As we come up to the first bridge, I'm feeling a bit more from the ground than I did from the Raiju, so I'm feeling that kind of shaking. I'm using a controller. That might be another factor here. I just can't, in my mind, use a keyboard. Alright, we're under the first plane. That wasn't a plane, that was a bridge. Good stuff. Alright, I am feeling a bit of that vibration kind of from the ground here where I didn't feel that with the Raiju. And this is also feeling like it is quite a bit longer than the time it took for the Raiju, but as we're coming up to this bridge here, we're going to fly under it, and our time is 1:48.2. Alright, so that was quite a bit slower. 29 seconds, I believe. Alright, let's get into the next plane. Alright, up next here, we've got the Rogue. I waited till day so you guys could see the plane a little bit better, see my amazing customization on it. Alright, without further ado, let's get into it. 3, 2, 1, go. And we're off. It's a little bit slower to gain some speed, pulling up, and we are off the runway. This plane is, well, obviously going to be slower than the Raiju. It's a lot smaller, so it feels a lot more maneuverable. So let's see how it does on this big turn that we're coming up to. It is giving me a bit of weird kind of, I guess, feedback. Like it's not fully doing what I want it to do, but we are reaching the tip of the Alamo Sea. Alright, and there we go. We're going to start turning the other way. Maybe do some upside down flying for a second. It is pretty agile, I will say. Like, it's responding really well to the inputs that I'm giving it. But let's see how it does in a more confined area as we reach these bridges here. Alright, and we're coming up to the first bridge here. We're under that at 1:09 was our time there. And let's see what happens as we approach the second bridge. Obviously, I know I've done this for all the planes, but I could be flying in a straight line to that other bridge, but I want to see how it does kind of as it's turning. So that's why I'm not going in a straight line from one bridge to the other. And we're under this bridge at 129.6. Alright, good stuff. Let's get in the next plane. Wow, this thing is really fun to fly. Very, very agile, I suppose. Let's maybe not crash it. Okay, and we did anyways. Alright, let's get into the next plane. Alright, and for our third and final plane here, we have the Molotok. This plane is the second most expensive, so does that mean it's the second best? Maybe, maybe not. Yeah, alright, let's pull up my timer here, and let's get into it. 3, 2, 1, go. Alright. And I know I said that the Pyro was ugly, but what is this? Like, where's the nose? Like, if this had a nose cone, I would love to look at this plane. This would be number one. But, like, it looks like someone just took an axe and chopped it off, and I'm not here for that. I'm a fan of the customization abilities of this plane, just with the colors of it, I guess, because, I mean, it's not like a car. You can't just throw a spoiler on there. Maybe I did mess up by adding the fuel tanks to this plane. I thought it would look cool. It does not. But, I mean, here we are. This was a plane that I was able to do some test runs with in some races, and it was relatively quick. Wasn't the fastest. I think it was the slowest of the three that I tested. But overall, like, it's a pretty okay plane. I don't think price is warranted, but we'll get into that a little bit later. As we come under our first bridge here, all these small planes do feel very maneuverable. I mean, obviously that is what you'd expect in a very small plane, or not a very small plane, but just a small plane. In comparison to a bigger plane, you'd obviously expect it to be more maneuverable. I think that's a bit of an obvious one. Anyways, as we're coming underneath the bridge here, looks like it is slower than the Pyro. It's at 131.2. Alright, so that kind of wraps up our speed aspect of this here. Let's go back to the hangar and I'll discuss some more about these planes. Alright, so I just reviewed the footage. Looks like my Pyro footage is gone, so we're going to redo that one. I also said that the Molotok was the third and final plane. That was the fifth plane that I did, so I'm not really sure where my head was. But anyways, now we're going to be doing the Pyro. Let's go ahead and call it. Oh, good, I didn't blow it up. So it should be coming here, and then we're going to redo that little bit there. All right, and for our fifth and final plane, we have the Pyro. Yep. I've got many things to say about the way this thing looks, but let's get into it. 3, 2, 1, go. Alright, we're off. Got enough speed, taken off. Okay, I will say this plane is very agile. It's pretty quick too. I do like that about it. I don't like the look. Sorry, hiccup. The look of it is horrific. I can't fathom how they've gone and designed this plane in the way that they have. Like, I just can't even understand why it looks the way it does. But it is very maneuverable, and we do see oh boy, thanks. Based off of how this run's going, I might just go ahead and take the time from the first time I did this, but we'll see if it gets faster. Maybe I'll take this time. The Pyro is a very agile plane, but it's a very ugly plane. It looks like a face. I can't get that out of my mind. Like, that looks like a mouth. Maybe it doesn't have eyes. Overall, I just don't like the look of it. Yeah, I don't know. I'd say it's decent for the money. But I guess, yeah, we'll get into that in a second here. It is very agile in these small spaces, though. I do kind of like the way it handles. But let's see how we're doing for time. 124. And, alright, 131. Alright, in the clip that I did that got deleted, it hit a 126.9, so I'm going to be taking that time because I feel like it's a little more accurate. Alright, let's go back to the hangar and discuss some more about these planes. Alright, so starting off with the slowest plane, we have the B-11 Strikeforce. This is a little surprising, given how much it costs. It's our second cheapest plane. It is $3.8 million. I wouldn't call that cheap. That's hours of grinding. But yeah, I mean, it is a lot better at other things like combat. Obviously, it does have many different options, as we'll go over in the features section. But I was expecting it to be a little bit faster, but that's all right. And one thing to add is that its time was 148.2. Our second slowest plane is right next to the Strikeforce here, and it is in fact the Rogue with a time of 129.6. It does come just under 19 seconds faster than the Strikeforce, and it is also about half the price of the Strikeforce. So if you want a quick plane that can still shoot people, this is a pretty good option, in my opinion. Obviously, we'll go over some of the other features of the planes, such as what weapons they have. But for 1.6 million, it is a pretty good option, I would say. So yeah, that's a good call. All right, our third fastest plane is the Molotok. I'm gonna hate on this thing some more. It's $4.8 million. This thing should be faster. I get it. It has its niche, which is just being ugly. It's got some cool features though. We'll go over that, but it's just, I don't think the price is at all warranted. Its time was 128.2. It was 1.4 seconds faster than a plane that was literally like a third of its price. So I just don't think that this, like, people may love it. I hate it. I'll say that openly. I think this thing's really ugly. Why is it sat? Why is that wheel? Is this thing so heavy that its wheel comes up? Oh my god. Okay, yet another reason why I don't like this plane. Garbage. Okay, next plane. All right, our second place plane is going to be the Pyro. It came in at 126.9, which is just under a second and a half faster than this heap of garbage behind me. Overall, I mean, it's a good plane. It's really ugly. One other thing I saw, I talked about it having a face. I can't unsee this now. The front part is the mouth, and those two little, I don't even know what those are, engines on the side are the eyes. I just can't unsee it. Like, that is criminal. I don't like this thing now. This might drop its rankings in my opinion, but overall, $4.5 million. It's pretty quick. It's 7 seconds slower than the Raiju though, so I might just save my money. And finally, we have our number one plane, the F-160 Raiju. By far the most expensive, but by far the fastest. This came in at 1 minute and 19.4 seconds. That is a 7-second lead on any other car. These aren't cars, these are planes. Any other plane, which is, I mean, like, come on. You gotta go with this one if you're going for speed. Maneuverability, this thing also wins. And it's a VTOL. I didn't really use that because this was more of a sprint race, but that factors in huge when you're looking at maneuverability. You could stop this plane basically on a dime just by switching it to VTOL mode, which I think is very useful. $6.9 million. It's steep, but if you're ever considering buying this thing, that's 4.8. Just grind a little harder, buy this. This is better. That is good. Or even wait for it to go on sale. Okay, and buy this. Because if you're spending money on this, man, I don't know what to tell you. That thing's garbage. This thing is great. This is my number one pick so far. All right, so with all that said, let's get into the features of each plane. All right, so looking at the special features of each plane, we're gonna go in price ascending. So first up, we've got the Rogue. If we're rounding, it's 1.6 million. It's really loud. I mean, I wouldn't use this thing at night because then I wouldn't be able to go to sleep because my ears would be ringing if I had headphones on. But I mean, it's a pretty cool plane. I've got the homing missiles and explosive machine gun on this thing. I believe that is an extra cost to have the explosive machine gun. I think it's about 200,000 extra, but that still does put it about $2 million cheaper than any other plane. And the other option that this is a plane. The other option this plane has is the bomb doors. So, I mean, oh, those are the flares. If you do have a necessity to go carpet bomb your friends, this is a pretty cool plane to do that in. It is pretty inexpensive. If your whole aim is to just go make people's lives miserable, or maybe just blow up a bunch of cars, you've obviously got this carpet bombing feature. This was stupid. Why do I not have cops? Do I need to bomb someone else? Oh, there we go. Okay, yeah, it's a pretty fun plane. It's pretty cheap too, so if you're just looking to have some fun, it's a pretty good option. It's not super slow, but it's also not super fast. Oh, super clutch flying. Alright, the next plane we're going to be going over the special features of is going to be the Strikeforce. This comes in at 3.8 million. I would just essentially call it a slightly better version of the Rogue. It doesn't have that front propeller, so it's a little bit nicer to my ears. It's got the homing missiles as well as barrage missiles, which are pretty cool. Obviously shooting out a bunch at once, maybe you'll hit your target a little bit better. And then again, it does have the same bomb doors. Oh, those are the flares again. I guess I don't know how to control this thing. Oh, I'm still not very smart. There we go. Bomb doors are open. You can either do single or you can just carpet bomb if you want to be a bit of a menace there. I would generally just call this thing a bit of an upgraded, in terms of weapons, version of the Rogue. It is quite a bit slower, so maybe this is just for, I don't know what this is for. This would be more of a menace plane because you're not even going to get away from people if they start chasing you. But yeah, 3.8 million is its base price. Could be worse, could be better. Overall, a decent pick. Alright, the next plane I'm going to get in here is the Pyro. Comes to 4.5 if we're rounding. Super ugly, but super maneuverable, as I had mentioned earlier. Let's go ahead and put up that landing gear. It comes with, actually, I think I had to add the missiles, which is an added cost. It doesn't have the explosive machine gun, which is a bit lame. It also doesn't have bombing doors, so you're paying $4.5 million to have a plane that's pretty fast, but if you're in combat, I mean, you've got your missiles, but other than that, I mean, there's not much you can do. Oh, it is pretty agile, which I do like about it, but I mean, would I personally buy this plane if I wasn't reviewing it? No, I would not. So let's throw this thing back in the hangar. Ooh, oh. Guess my landing gear needed to be on? Oh well. Alright, and the next plane I will be getting in is the Molotok. Again, essentially $4.8 million. Let's see what features it has. I mean, you've got your lovely oil tanks that I've decided to add for whatever reason. I put smoke on the back. All of the planes can do this. I just thought it would look cool, so I'd have to look at the plane less because it's so ugly. It's got the same options as the Pyro, but it handles worse. It doesn't have bomb doors. It's super ugly. I mean, it's a little quick, I suppose. It's pretty maneuverable, but the Pyro's better. I would, like, the Pyro exists, so if you really want to be in that 4 million, 5 million range, buy the Pyro. This thing is hot garbage. It looks ugly. Yeah, maybe I'll just crash this one on purpose, honestly. Yeah, it's a bad car. This is a plane. It's a bad plane. Alright, and finally we're getting into the Raiju. Oh, see, this is such a good plane, they even put it on the runway for you because they know it's the best. They're like, hey, this is a great plane, let's do this. Couple really cool features. Obviously, this is a VTOL, which means you can go up and down. Not a lot of planes can do that. Not a lot of planes are meant to do that. Let's throw those landing gears up, and then obviously you can go that way as well. This thing also has stealth mode, which is pretty cool. In this mode, obviously you can't shoot at all, but you're off the radar from other players. Maybe you're in a really hostile lobby. This is a great plane to use just to get from point A to point B. Or maybe it's just a great dogfighting plane, obviously, because you can stop basically on a dime like this. Not a lot of planes can just do 180 turns and then keep going. See, weapons unavailable while in stealth mode. We come out of stealth mode, and there we go. We have our missiles, both homing and not homing, and then our explosive machine gun. It doesn't drop bombs like the Strikeforce does. However, it is a very good plane. Obviously, it's also the quickest plane out of all of them. It does also come with the heftiest price tag, but it is my personal favorite pick when it comes to, if I have, say I had $8 million to put on a plane, I'm buying the Raiju every day of the week. Or maybe I'll buy one single Molotok just so I can blow it up, because that thing is so horrible. Like, I physically can't get over it. Anyways, let's go back to the hangar here. Look at that, and the game doesn't even let me blow it up. Alright, so there we go. We have tested the planes, we've gone over their features, we've gone over their looks. Some of them look way better than others. But let's go over what I would rank them. Let's put them 1 to 5. God, that thing is so ugly. Okay, so let's start at my number 3 pick. Okay, this is going to be a pretty well-rounded plane, and I'm going to go with, you know what, I'm going to go with the Rogue. This might be a hot take because the Pyro is an option, but the Rogue was only 3 seconds slower. It comes in at a third of the price. It's got that carpet bombing feature. It's got those other missiles and the machine gun. It's pretty cool. It's a pretty good value plane for what you're paying. Okay, so that's going to be my number 3 pick. Coming in at number 2. You know what? No, I'm moving that plane to number 2. That is my number 2 pick. That is my second favorite plane here. Coming in at number 3, we'll put the Pyro. Okay, it's very fast. It's very agile. If that's what you're looking for, get from point A to point B, this is going to be your plane. Number 4, right here. This beast might be slow, but if you're in combat, I wouldn't rather have another plane other than the Raiju. It's a pretty good option. Obviously, it's pretty expensive. 3.8 million. It's not as expensive as this trash can behind me. But it is a pretty good pick. So I'd put it in my number 4 slot. Shockingly, number 5, right here. Second most expensive plane. Hot garbage. So ugly. I don't really see the point. It's a worse Pyro. Like, in every sense. Like, it's uglier. It's worse. It does less things. I would never buy this. I'm gonna find a way to sell this back to Warstock. I wish I could get rid of it. And then, obviously, number 1 pick. The best plane in the game. Obviously, I mean, it's $7 million, if we're being honest. It's very expensive, but it is very good. No other planes even come close to this plane. It's the fastest, it's the most capable, it's the most maneuverable. Yeah, this is gonna be my number 1 pick. So there we have it. Official legs tier list of these 5 planes. Not even all the planes in the game, just these 5 planes. S-Class, we'll give the Rogue an A. We'll give this one, you know what? Spitfire shares a B with the Pyro, and this thing is in the hot garbage tier. So there we go. Official legs rankings. All right, so there we have it. There's some of the best and the single worst plane in GTA 5. Let me know if you think I should have tested another plane. Maybe I will in another video. Let me know if there's any tests that you want to see with a new plane, or maybe these planes again. If you like the... what's this thing called? I can't even remember. If you like the Molotok, I'm sorry. Like, actually, I'm not sorry. This is a bad plane. If this is your favorite plane, I don't even know, man. Like, that's tough. Let me know in the comments. Maybe you can change my mind. But this is my least favorite plane. Maybe it's just the fact that I put the fuel tanks on there, but I thought it was garbage. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.